Okay, well, I guess I had to remove all the videos I had on my stored on my phone because they took up too much space. So I'm probably going to just release this as two parts. It might be easier that way. And what I was saying about the Ace of Swords, I don't even remember if I held it up. I'll just hold it up in case I didn't. This is the higher message. The Ace of Swords is about seeing things as they really are. And this can run the gamut because if you've been in a relationship with somebody, and that's why I mentioned an air sign that may be very detached, but maybe playing mind games with that detachment, knowing how much you crave, compliments and things like that, and they deliberately withhold those things because they want to create insecurity within you, you may catch on to that because the Nine of Cups can be something really good coming into your life. Maybe you get that, maybe that is the promotion that you get at work or some kind of great development there. Maybe you find out, if this is a second marriage, you find out that your son or daughter has achieved something and they're getting engaged, or something that is a life event, or that your adult child is pregnant and you're going to be a grandmother, and you're realizing that your current partner doesn't share that joy with you, and it kind of gets the wheels turning, like, what's going on here? This is not normal. My partner is supposed to be, my greatest cheerleader, and so that can make you realize what's really going on. And what's really going on can be that you're dealing with somebody who really doesn't share in your joy. They're kind of like maybe competitive with you, jealous of you, and you see that. And I'm trying to think astrologically if there's anything going on in October that would kind of give me that feeling. I can't think of anything. This might have been something that occurred a couple of months ago, because there was a full moon in your committed partner sector, the 7th house, in Aquarius. And so that might have been a time when it started to dawn on you what was really going on. In terms of, if you have met somebody who is a water sign or has a strong water signature, and they have, treated you the way that you deserve to be treated, because you both have that emotional side to you that you share in common, it can only underscore how this air sign individual, or this person with a lot of air detachment, has been kind of withholding affection. And it can, even if you're only having an emotional affair with this water sign, it can still be the springboard into something where you leave your current partner eventually. Another thing, and this can be anybody in your life, and this is kind of sad, is that if you have had a recent success in your life, well, the Nine of Cups can be like you have met the perfect partner or landed the perfect job. I mean, there could be some kind of even financial, I don't know what you would call it, like prosperity attached to it, but whatever it is that is good news or a good development, a wish that you've wanted to fulfill. There can be someone in your life or some people in your life that do not share your joy. They're actually trying to steal your joy. And when I see the Three of Swords, I think of three as a crowd, like trying to edge you out of something. So whether it's with your siblings, keeping you out of some kind of family thing, or friends. Now, friends are something that I don't often discuss in readings, but that could definitely be something that you have to look at, because there might be people in your life that are simply not supportive of you, and it can feel like very disappointing because you realize that. I mean, the Ace of Swords is really seeing it for what it is. Maybe you've seen things along the way, and now it's like, dang. And actually, for you, the friendship sector, I mean, for everybody, the friendship sector is the 11th house. And for you, this is represented by the sign Gemini. And Gemini is one of the 2 signs, along with Sagittarius, that are currently having eclipses in this house, and also like the North Node is in that 11th house for you. And so what that can suggest is somebody who is experiencing shifts in your friendships and meeting friends or joining groups that have a very faded connection with you at this time in your life. And what I tend to see, and I don't think that that's, of course, going to be 100% accurate, is in the area of spiritual groups, because they, and I would say by extension, support groups, including, AA or some other type of recovery group, because sometimes they also incorporate spiritual principles. And by recovery, it can be codependency or anything that you've dealt with, domestic violence. I mean, I could run the gamut. And these people at this time in your life can be everything. I mean, sometimes, one of my biggest joys is reading biographies and autobiographies of famous people. I love rock stars and old movie stars and things like that. And one of the things that I notice is that a fair number of these people, have to go through an addiction at some point in their career. And they tend to go into rehab, and sometimes they go into rehab many times. I read Elton John's memoir not too long ago, and he was talking about this. And the thing is that these kinds of events, while you don't necessarily stay in contact with everybody that you go through rehab with or that you are in a support group with, you remember that time of your life as very important in the grand scheme of things, like a turning point, so, if you will. So these groups may not be something that lasts forever, but in this time frame, whatever else is going on in your life, Leo, this can make all the difference in kind of setting the tone for that. So you may have in order for that to happen, you may have to distance yourself from people, friends and other types of groups that you belong to that seem that you've outgrown, that they are actually detrimental, not helpful, and things like that. But it can hurt because you are loyal and you do have a big heart. What crosses you is the Wheel of Fortune. This is connected to Jupiter. If I look at this astrologically, because Jupiter is in Capricorn, for you, this is the 6th house of work. And maybe for some people, if this 3 of Swords is a disappointment in work, it may be that something is not aligned in that area. And remember that the Wheel of Fortune is all about cycles. And if you're somebody who has experienced a series of setbacks in your particular job situation, maybe the manager left and the boss left and there's some new management or new boss. Maybe they have changed policies. Maybe your job description has changed, or they've cut your hours, or whatever. You may see the writing on the wall that something is seriously changing and it's like going downhill. And if you don't really acknowledge that and kind of make peace with that, you may try to cling to something that has every signs of being in your past and not your present. So looking at things from that angle, what's coming in, or the advice, is the Hermit card, definitely as advice. Look within. Stop looking at the world to tell you what to do. Not that Leos do that, because fire signs tend to be very self-assured, but you may hold worldly views on things. Not to say that you're not a spiritual person, but everybody, I think, has the potential for kind of operating with a certain belief system that they don't realize isn't their own, that has been kind of regurgitated from their parents or their culture. And the ultimate expression of fire energy is autonomy and individuality and being able to stand apart. So a professional example would be if you're in a corporate environment where you really feel like you can't be yourself, and that rankles you, that you, I mean, to the point where it really, really bothers you. You may have the decision that you may make this decision that you have to change course of action because it simply is not going to be okay for you anymore. Maybe at one time it was. The outcome is the Three of Cups, and again, this is a card of friendships. You may be seeking other people in your life now more than ever. And maybe for those Leos who want to work for themselves, you may be enlisting your friends. They may be your first line of help when it comes to kind of getting the word out. If you're going to start your own business, like a consulting business, because with the Wheel of Fortune in the challenge position, this may be the nature of your industry, is that it just has a lot of erratic tendencies. Speaking of which, that's another thing. Your 10th house is Taurus, and Uranus is transiting Taurus, the sign of Taurus. So that can mean that there are going to be a lot of twists and turns in your career situation next several years. It may be the type of work that you're doing that just is in a state of flux, and so until it settles down, it's just going to be doing a lot of kind of like swinging back and forth, and maybe you might feel like you can't trust it anymore, but it is what it is, you know. So you may feel like you have to do something yourself, but you might feel, hey, why am I working for somebody else? I have all this knowledge inside of my head. I can make money from this knowledge that I have, and I'm going to do that. You know, regardless of whether you do it tomorrow, eventually you will do it. And maybe the Three of Swords was the final straw with that. If you are in a relationship where you feel that sense of pain, that you are, you know, a fifth wheel, third, I don't know how to say third wheel or fifth wheel. The Hermit is about taking time, maybe legally separating if you are legally married to this person, and leaning on your friends. Maybe they want to help, but you have been kind of keeping them at arm's length for whatever reason. Okay, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.